All right, today we are diving into the overthinking brain. We're going to look at what's really happening when your mind gets stuck on a loop, and more importantly, how you can get unstuck. Let's get right into it.
You know that feeling, right? That one conversation or that one little worry or mistake you made, just playing over and over and over in your head. It is absolutely exhausting. It kind of feels like you're digging yourself into a hole, but for some reason, you just can't put the shovel down. If that sounds even a little familiar, you are definitely in the right place. Okay, so first things first, let's try to understand what's actually going on inside our heads. What is this mental loop, and where in the world does it come from? So, at its very core, overthinking isn't some kind of character flaw. It's actually your brain trying to protect you. It's a coping mechanism that's just gone into overdrive. It's this deep seated attempt to wrestle back a sense of control when everything feels uncertain. The big problem? It almost never gives us clarity. It usually just creates way more distress. Now, overthinking generally shows up in two main flavors. On one side, you've got rumination. This is when you're totally stuck on the past, replaying a mistake again and again, asking why did that happen? And on the other side, you've got worry. This is getting lost in all those anxious what ifs about the future. One tends to be linked with depression, the other with anxiety. But you know what? Both of them keep us completely and utterly trapped. So, what's happening in the brain that causes all this? Well, you can think of it like a tug of war between two really important networks. First, you've got what scientists call the default mode network, or DMN. Let's just call it the me network. It's all about you, your past, your future, your daydreams. Then you've got the executive control network, or ECN. This is your task network. This is the part of your brain that focuses on the here and now to get stuff done. See, normally, these two networks have a nice balance. When one's on, the other one's quiet. But in an overthinking brain, they get all tangled up. Research shows that rumination is directly linked to this messy crosstalk, where that self-focused me network basically hijacks the task network. And that is the biological root of that feeling of being stuck. So if overthinking is the feeling of being stuck, what's the opposite? Let's talk about a completely different and much better mental state: flow. I guarantee you have felt this before. It's that feeling when you're so completely absorbed in something. Maybe it's playing an instrument or a sport or even just a really engaging project at work, that time just seems to disappear. The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi famously called this the flow state. It's that perfect sweet spot where a task is just challenging enough to keep you 100% engaged. And here is what's so fascinating from a brain perspective. During flow, that self-focused me network we were just talking about, it actually goes quiet. All that internal chatter about you and your worries and your to-do list, it just fades into the background. And this just shows the difference so perfectly. Instead of that tangled, messy crosstalk of overthinking, when you're in a state of flow, the brain's networks start working together in perfect harmony. It's a synergy. And that synergy is what lets focus and creativity happen. The brain isn't fighting itself anymore, it's collaborating. Okay, so how do we get from that tangled up brain to the focused brain? Well, the key, it turns out, is learning to think about your thinking. This incredible human ability is called metacognition. It's basically about taking a step back and just observing your own mind at work. Think about it like this. It's the difference between being caught in a huge thunderstorm of thoughts versus watching that storm safely from a window. You notice the thoughts, but you don't get swept away by them. This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of it. The problem isn't the first negative thought that pops into your head. That's just what brains do. The real issue, the thing that causes all the distress, is our response to it. The hours and hours of worry or rumination that come after. It's the extended thinking that's the real problem. And this is pretty much how we all get caught in that overthinking loop. It starts with a trigger, just a random negative thought. Then comes step two, the extended thinking, where we chew on it, we worry about it. This puts us on high alert, so we start scanning for more threats. And then finally, we try to push the thoughts away, which ironically just makes them stronger. It's such a vicious cycle. Now, breaking that cycle, I know it might sound impossible, but here's the really good news. Science is showing us that we can absolutely rewire these mental habits. Let's look at the actual proof. Researchers tested a specific type of therapy designed to target rumination. They did this with a group of young people who had a history of depression. And the results were, frankly, incredible. The group that got the rumination-focused therapy, their rumination scores plummeted. They saw a huge decrease. Meanwhile, the control group, who got the standard treatment, barely changed at all. This wasn't just a tiny effect, it was a massive shift.
But here's the most amazing part. It wasn't just about how they felt. Brain scans actually showed that the therapy had physically changed their brains. It literally reduced that messy, problematic crosstalk between the me network and the task network. They were actually, neurologically, untangling the wires.
And this is the big takeaway. This is the thing to remember. Mental habits like overthinking aren't just feelings. They are physical, they are measurable patterns in your brain's wiring. And just like any other habit, with the right kind of practice, they can be changed.
So, how do we do it? What are the practical strategies you can actually use to start rewiring those habits? Okay, let's open up the toolkit.
Here are some super powerful evidence-based techniques. You could start simple by just noticing and labeling when you're overthinking. Or you could try scheduling a worry time. Give yourself one 15-minute window each day to do all your worrying. And if a worry pops up outside of that time, you just tell it, I'll see you at 4 p.m. The goal here is to shift from being controlled by your thoughts to managing your relationship with them. Okay, let's walk through one really powerful technique called detached mindfulness. It's a simple 4-step process. Step 1, notice the thought without judging it. Step 2, label it as just a thought. You could literally say to yourself, I'm having the thought that. Step 3, just allow it to be there. Don't fight it, don't push it away. And step 4, gently let it go as you bring your attention back to whatever you're doing right now. And that really brings us to a final and I think really powerful idea. We often think the goal is to stop our thoughts, to achieve this perfectly silent, peaceful mind. But maybe that's the wrong target. What if the real goal isn't a silent mind at all, but a more flexible one? A mind that can notice thoughts without getting stuck in them and can consciously choose moment by moment where to place its attention.